Hey everybody, welcome back! This is my second video looking at the Steam Summer Sale, running from December 22 until January 5. In this video, I'm taking a look at some of my strategy game hidden gems. These games that maybe you haven't quite seen before, maybe you've forgotten that they exist, or maybe they released at a high price, you put them to one side, and you forgot about it. Either way, I want to discuss the less discussed strategy games. Some of these will still be fairly popular. Some of them, though, entirely different. Without any further ado, let me jump straight in and let's begin. Not with Tabletop Simulator, although I did want to include it at the start of this video just in case you were looking for something a little bit different to play during this highly digitized Christmas. This might be the game for you. But let's talk my strategy game, Hidden Gems. First and foremost, I have Surviving Mars, and I'm actually putting it here because it has the starter bundle alongside the base game itself, which is 75% off. Surviving Mars comes out of Paradox Interactive. It's one of their less popular games. Of course, you could pick up Cities Skylines, Europa Universalis, Stellaris, or Hearts of Iron for 75% off, and you'd be probably pretty wise to do so. But here we have Surviving Mars. Essentially, this is another strategy game. Of course, it's set on Mars. It's a city builder colony sim mixed with those strategy and survival elements that Paradox do particularly well, especially that strategy element. It's an enjoyable experience that I think a lot of people haven't tried and haven't really touched. And if you enjoy a slightly sci-fi setting, I think you'll really enjoy Surviving Mars. And I mean, for goodness sake, for $6.50 US, you can't really go wrong. And as I say, if you really like it, you do have some DLC to play with. In fact, there was one that came out just recently in September. So you've got a few different things that you could add to that experience as well. My second recommendation is the often forgotten and unfairly so Tropico. The whole franchise is on sale. I'm going to take a look here at Tropico 5, which is 50% off, but I can also highly recommend Tropico 6. I've got those round the wrong way. Am I going to edit that out? No. I would highly recommend Tropico 5 and 6. Tropico 6, of course, you can see here, the more expensive version came out in 2019. Of course, it's slightly more polished, but if you like building cities with some strategy and planning an economy around it, look no further than Tropico. Of course, you're doing it in the tropics. If you'd like to be a dictator of your own tropical island, or indeed build a democratic island of success, I can highly recommend the Tropico experience. It also has a wonderful soundtrack and art style and everything that builds into a very enjoyable experience. Third on my list, and of course a not so hidden gem, I openly admit, it's Age of Empires 3. The reason I'm including it here, for those of you who aren't already playing it on Game Pass, hey Jumbo, did you know it's free on Game Pass? Yes. If you're not already playing it on Game Pass, you can get it here for 50% off. The whole franchise is on special. If you were a little bit disappointed by Age of Empires 4, or you don't have the 130 New Zealand dollars to spend on it, then you might want to pick Age of Empires 3 up. 20 bucks NZ, it's about $15 in the US. It's a good buy, a great game to add to your collection if you don't already have it. This is the definitive edition, of course. It's also a great way to get into the Age of Empires experience. I could also recommend Age of Empires 2 if you want something that is a little more traditional and arguably maybe even a little bit closer to 4. You could check that out, half the price of 3. My next recommendation here may seem a little goofy at first, but when you combine the simulation, the building, and the economic management elements of Planet Coaster, it combines to be a fairly enjoyable experience. No, it's not a hardcore strategy game, of course it's not, but it's fun. You can design your own theme park and manage it in an entirely sandbox world if you wish. You can also manage its economy and staff and rides and design them all. It's a very enjoyable game. At 80% off, it's a no-brainer for me to recommend it. You could probably pull out a couple of bucks from the back of the couch and almost be there. Prison Architect is another one of my hidden gems. Yes, it's a Paradox game. It's less known. I've talked about it a bit before on the channel, so I'm not going to dwell on it too much right now. But what you need to know is it's essentially a top-down prison building simulator. You can live in the prison. You can be the warden of the prison. There's also a sandbox mode as well as a campaign mode. It's a really enjoyable game. It's available on a few different platforms. It's 75% off. It's dirt cheap. It's got a whole load of DLC. If you're looking for something to put some time into that isn't just a mindless mush, but actually does have some enjoyable planning elements to it as well, Prison Architect may very well be for you. And last, but certainly not least, I didn't include it in my initial strategy video for obvious reasons, so I'm going to include it here in my hidden gems. It's Humankind. Now, regular viewers of the channel, please don't drag me over the coals. I know this isn't a hidden gem to you, but for most 4X historical strategy game players who are playing Civilization 6, which, of course, by the way, is also a great deal, but if Humankind is not a hidden gem, then Civilization 6 is not hidden. I've already talked about that on the channel already, so I won't dwell on it here. But for Civilization 6 players who might be looking for something fresh and much more modern, I can highly recommend Humankind, and at 20% off, or, of course, playing the free playable demo, as this game becomes more popular over time, as its reviews increase, and as Amplitude do a fantastic job at supporting it. I think 2022 will be a great year for Humankind, and now might be a good time to pick it up at 20% off. And before I move through to the final parts of this video, I want to give a couple of honorable mentions from either previous videos or other experiences. First up, it's XCOM 2 at 90% off. This tactical shooter developed by Firaxis, the same studio that developed Civilization 5 and 6, seems like a no-brainer to me. Also on the honorable mentions pathway, and I know I've mentioned this in my previous Steam video if you've seen it already, it's Kerbal Space Program, a fantastically fun strategy game. 2 is coming out this year as well. It is an awesome, overwhelmingly positively rated experience. It's a space simulation sandbox game with huge elements of realistic, for the most part, physics and science. Ignore the green Martians, of course. You are designed to build a space program. As I mentioned just before, Kerbal Space Program 2 is coming out in 2022 as well. So it seems like a reasonable time to pick up Kerbal Space Program at a good discount, the best we've ever seen. First Equal at 75% off. And finally here, as I mentioned at the start of the video, Tabletop Simulator, absolutely worth a go. It's fun, it's fiddly though, but it's a good time. Thank you very much for watching my strategy game, Hidden Gems. This is my second video covering the Steam summer sale. I may have one more for you in future on my broader recommendations outside of the strategy realm. Thank you very much for watching. My name's been JumboPixel. Have a very happy holidays and a happy new year. And I will see you actually in that new year if you're subscribed. If you're not and you're still here watching at the end of the video, that's kind of weird and you're pretty unusual. Thanks very much. I'll see you next time.